Hey everybody, so today is the day I'm gonna do that whole thing where I vlog about my wedding. Because you knew it was coming. I promised it was coming. I said I'd talk about stuff, and here it is. Here we are today. And first and foremost, I have really great clear memories. I know it was only like less than 2 weeks ago, but I have really great clear memories of my wedding, which is something that some of my other friends say that they don't have. So I don't know what I did, but I'm really glad because my wedding was so perfect. It's so perfect for us. Like everything went pretty smoothly. We were late to photos, but the ceremony actually began right on time, was about 10 minutes long, and then we got right to the party. It went by so fast, and we forgot to like make an announcement to like go to the reception, that people just stood in the ceremony space like, well, that happened quick. And one of the caterers came back to us in the dressing rooms and was like, you wanted people to come into the reception now, right? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, they're not doing that. You want us to go tell them to do that? We're like, yes, please get everyone drinks. Because we had planned to take 15 to 30 minutes to ourselves. We exchanged swords during the ceremony, so we actually took those swords and we just locked them away in my husband's car. And we took that moment to be by ourselves, which was advice we had gotten from a lot of couples. Just right after the ceremony, before pictures, after pictures, before you go into the reception and you have to actually start greeting everyone and thanking them and doing this, that, and the other. Just making sure you carve out time to be together and get to really enjoy that moment right after the wedding, like, yay, now we did it. And it was good advice, and I think that was good. I enjoyed that we did that. We actually also did all our photos beforehand because we chose to do a first look, because we did the first look and then all the rest of our photos, and then we in the wedding party walk over and set up our entire wedding ourselves because we couldn't afford to pay people to do it. So we DIY'd, not just we made everything, we put our own wedding together, and we were both really proud of how it turned out. It's definitely not for everyone, like that kind of stress, or like I was running around putting stuff up in my wedding dress, which a lot of people, when I told them that's what I was going to do, really thought sounded crazy. They're like, you're gonna go like do decorations in your wedding dress? And I'm like, yeah, because most of it's just setting stuff on table. It wasn't a lot of intensive stuff. My husband got all the tables set up in the room the night before, because we did get married where he works, and I will actually be working there again, but we met working there, so it made sense to get married there, and it was very cute. But the Black Box Theater that we actually did the reception in was mostly set up the night before, or actually like the day before. So we didn't have to move a lot of chairs or tables or anything, so it really wasn't that strenuous. So yeah, me running around in my wedding dress, just like, all right, let's do this. But for us, we're very much those people. We're creative types. We work in theater. We like putting on a show, and we like doing it with our own hands. So it was really gratifying, and that's not to say our wedding party helped so tremendously much. Like, we had these lanterns that we had originally planned to like hang from the ceiling, but we could never figure out an efficient way to do it. So they were just there. And my wedding party, my bridal party, they started taking them out and like putting them together, and they're like, where do these go? And we're like, actually, we didn't have a plan for those. And one of one of my best friends, of course, that's why I asked them to be in the wedding party, they look over and there's like a stairway on the way in that has like a big chunky guardrail, and they look over and they go, "You want us to tie him to that?" And I go, "Yeah." And they actually created this wall of these lanterns, no lights in them, just, they were literally dollar store lanterns. We found pink and blue lanterns at the dollar store one day, and we were like, yeah, we're buying these because this is cheap and easy decor. And but it looked so good under my husband's lighting and just where the bridal party decided to put it. It was so amazing. But it's just this like wall of lanterns above where we actually put out a game table with some board games and stuff, which, as far as I know, I didn't see anyone playing them, but as far as I know, I was told people were playing some of the games, so that makes me excited, because I was just basically putting them out because I'm a huge nerd, and I was like, I don't really expect anyone to, like, play these, but really people were playing the board games and not doing any dancing, so, you know, that's how that turned out. Yeah, I'll talk more about the decoration in a second. Like, going back to just... Yeah, so we did also have that moment, the first look. We weren't hidden away from each other all day. Like we didn't separate the night before or anything. So like I woke up with him, he drove me to my mom's place to like do all the getting ready. And while we never saw each other in our outfits or anything until that moment, like, it took such a tremendous amount of stress off of the day. I feel like I do not regret that at all. Like, we still got the moment he saw me on camera, but we got to ease both of our anxieties and not necessarily have that moment be in front of everyone with, you know, tremendous pressure. Yeah, I just think that maybe like being separated all day, it just wasn't our style really either. We are tremendously codependent people, and I say that is generally a negative word, and it's not bad, but it's not so much that we're like actually needy codependent people. We just enjoy each other's company so much that we are very rarely apart from each other. So I can't imagine having spent so much of that day without him. I really can't. So for us, that's the way it worked for us, and it was great for us. We also, during the reception, the only two like slated events, we were introduced and did our first dance right away when we came in, and then we like let everybody eat, and then we did the cake cutting. And those were the only two things we did. We didn't do any speeches, we didn't do any whatever, we didn't even have a DJ, so I introduced my own cake cutting. I also like, we had a good friend of ours introduce us to the reception, like introduced the wedding party went, sat down, we came in, we did our first dance, and then I just picked up the mic and like thanked everyone and just was like, go get food, as opposed to having someone else do it. I really like attention, so I wanted to anyway. And yeah, when it was time to cut the cake, I just picked the mic back up and I'm like, hey yo, we were supposed to cut the cake 30 minutes ago, but we're gonna cut the cake now. Because that's what happened. Somebody told me like 10 minutes before it was time to cut cake, the caterers was like, you still want to cut the cake at like 6:30? And I'm like, yeah, that's the timeline, that's what we're doing. And she's like, all right, we'll be ready in like 5 minutes. And then 30 minutes later, I walked away from talking to people and I was like, what time is it? We were probably supposed to cut the cake a long time ago. So I was just like, come on, we're cutting the cake. So, you know, and maybe if we'd had someone whose, you know, responsibility it was to tell us to do that thing, it might have happened on time. But I ended up not feeling any stress about it. Like, so what? The cake got cut a little late. Everybody still got cake. There was a whole cake left over. I paid for way too much food. We had a lot of people who were non-responses, like not a yes, not a no. And me, because I'm a panicky person, I was like, I'm just going to pretend that they're all going to show up, because if they do, I don't want to not have enough food. So I paid for food for 80 people and probably had 50 people at my wedding. So, which isn't, I don't care about the number. I don't. It's just, I did. We ended up with an entire extra sheet cake, because we only needed one. But we would have needed two if as many people as we had invited had showed up. It happens. We did make several meals out of some of the leftover food. We didn't keep any of we did a breakfast themed buffet, and I didn't keep any of the fruit because we generally wouldn't eat that, and we were leaving on the honeymoon. We left the night of the day after, so not like immediately after the wedding, but really soon. But we kept like some potatoes O'Brien and some chicken and waffle sliders because they would keep. And I was just like, these will be fine when we get back. And we made this wedding casserole. We took the potatoes O'Brien and put cream of chicken in there, and then put some of the chicken from the chicken and waffles sliders, so like basically chicken nuggets, over the top of it, and just like, this was so delicious. We were just like, yeah, it's just wedding casserole, because it was just various wedding food, and that's like what we had like the night we got back from the honeymoon. Well, we were still technically on the honeymoon. We had several days at home as well as actually out and about. But yeah, and then we partied, we ate, everything was beautiful. So back to the decorations, because when I had started out, I had originally said like, oh, well, I'll like film like how-to videos on the stuff that I'm doing and make content that way. And I ended up with not the time to do that. But I am actually going to go through today. I'm going to show you guys a little bit of what I did and just talk about how I did it. Most of it is very similar techniques. I used the Cricut for almost everything I did. Because that was why I bought it. I mean, also like business purposes and fun, but I specifically bought the Cricut when I bought it so that I'd be able to use it to create stuff for the wedding. And I did. I used it a lot. So starting with back here, this used to be like our games table and like printer table, and the printer is actually still down here, but we bought a new bookshelf that was able to contain everything that was on our old bookshelf plus our board games. So the board games are in there now because they had outgrown this space, because of course they have. So then we were able to clear the top of this off, and this is actually like our sort of like wedding display, because like here are our swords, and this is actually, we did a Dropbox guest book. There's we made this one because usually you buy these and they're just a frame with a slot in the top, and they're like exorbitant costs really to buy them already made that way. But we found this frame for like $11 at like TJ Maxx or something, one of the outlet stores, and we were like, this is the right size, the right price. We're just gonna drill the hole into the top, and that's what we did. We did also this pink is craft foam, and there are 2 layers of the craft foam to make it. And I was trying to keep the hearts from being able to get in front of each other, but I guess I needed like one more layer of craft foam or something. I tested it out beforehand, I swear, and it was fine. But then you got a bunch of them in there and like stuff settled or whatever, so it ended up like this. But for me, as soon as I found out what this thing, the Dropbox guest book was, that's what I wanted. I like didn't want just a book full of names, and I didn't like the like trees with the like fingerprints. Like there's a lot of that's like too cheesy for me, but this is my jam. Like little hearts, and people write their names on the hearts, and we did, and my fiance did this. My husband now, at the time that he did it, he was my fiance, and now he's my husband. And I don't know if the lighting's quite good enough, but there it is. And just, it ended up being that this material is just soft enough that he just took a drill and just drilled the points and then like repeatedly in the middle. And it's, I mean, you can see it's a little quote unquote homemade or whatever. There's like one that he got off, but it's actually otherwise like really perfect. Like it worked out really well. And I'm super happy with it. And then I hadn't planned on doing this, but as like a last minute thing, I was like, this would look nice with some kind of border. So this is actually just glitter washi tape that I just slammed on like the night before the wedding. And it turns out it brings the whole thing together in like a really sort of refined way. But we did paint about 100, because I just bought a package of 100 like wooden hearts, and we ended up just painting them, like all of them, my mother and I. So we did also paint these little wood hearts. So this box was the box that the hearts were in. Ha! It sticks a little sometimes. And unfortunately, so what I did was I used the Cricut to cut out vinyl to do the like sign a heart and drop it into the frame to tell people what to do. But unfortunately the vinyl, it held up for one night, which is what it needed to do. But it has been coming off ever since. But we're mostly gonna leave it closed probably forever. So yeah, all the extra hearts, because we always had way too many hearts. And this was just one of the unfinished wood boxes from Michael's. We used coupon and everything, so like, I don't know, they're like $4 originally or something like $5. And then we used, the brand of stain is right here. Convenience. We actually used the Folk Art Ultra dye. Yeah. That's the stain that we used. My husband stained the box. And we did seal it with, well, we tried to use several sealers and none of them seem to have 100% worked. Like I have blue on my fingers right now from picking that up, and I forgot all about the fact that that would happen. The final clear coat that we used was a Krylon, and it's still sort of getting through, and I'm not sure if that's just we haven't done enough coats yet or whatever, but we ran out of time to do more, really. And I mentioned earlier that we had a game table, and so I made a little sign for the game table, and that's actually again, that's just Cricut vinyl. I painted the canvas and then just cut out with the Cricut. I did design this, design it. I found the dice image and then just selected my fonts, and insofar as that's how I designed it, there's a hair stuck to it. I got really obsessed with the hair, sorry. Yeah, and this was on a little, just a little tabletop easel on a table, all the games next to it and all that. Also for for the games table, I cut out a bunch of these D20 shapes. We actually just sort of tossed them around in between the games and stuff on that game table as sort of like a table scatter. Also, the morning of the wedding, I woke up at 5 and couldn't get back to sleep. So I have one of those little heart hole punchers, and I just punched a bunch of table scatter the morning of the wedding and was like, yeah, just scatter these on the tables. So that was an interesting thing that happened. And again, with the Cricut, there were 2 of these. One of them fell apart. But hey, no big deal. It only needed to survive for one night. That's the great thing about DIY wedding decor. You don't have to be sad if it doesn't hold up afterwards, because you made it for one night. But there were 2 of these, and they were on the front of the sweetheart table just with safety pins. There was the tablecloth was on it, and I just, with the safety pins, just bloop, bloop. And there were a couple of little silver rosette fans as well, but those were fun to do. This is just like a Valentine's rosette in the Cricut design space. In a similar fashion, we had on the front of the catering table, these are just from the party store. And we just had these in pink and blue. And those were just on the front, again, just with safety pins, and it turned out really good. And that was once again my friend's idea, because we didn't know what to do with them after we couldn't hang them from the ceiling, but we just still had them. But it turned out gorgeous. It was so pretty, and I'm glad we didn't throw them away or something once we didn't know what to do with them. And then also at the reception, so these are the some signs that I made for the bar to let guests know what we had. We did a signature cocktail, which I called Peaches and Promises, because that is a name I had heard that I loved. I actually made up the drink to go with it, because I swear I had seen it as a sign, being sold for a wedding, signature cocktail, Peaches and Promises wedding sign. And I was trying to find it again, and I never could, so I never could find out what was supposed to be in this drink. So I made something up, and I put rosé, peach schnapps, and club soda together, and it was delicious, and everyone loved it. And I'm I invented a drink and everyone loved it, so that made me feel good. But this is our little signature cocktail drink, and this is, again, made with the Cricut. This is the glitter gel pen set that I bought a while back and really didn't know exactly what I was going to do with, but of course I wanted them. But it turns out they were a great thing to have. It found this cute little wine design and just threw all this up. Did this one as well based on some other signs I had seen. I've mostly seen them in chalkboard, where there's a sticker or something that is the shape of the alcohol bottle, and then written in chalk is what type you have or whatever. But we did, other than the drink, the specialty drink, we did have, we also served Moscato and 2 different kinds of beer, Shock Top and Yingling, because those are beers that we will drink, and we did end up with a lot of leftover beer. So it was good that we bought stuff that we wanted to drink. And that's just kind of how we approached it. We were we're gonna end up with this if people don't drink it, so you're gonna need to drink what we would like. And that's, nobody complained. They all really liked the specialty cocktail, so I think it worked. And we did end up with well, because we, you know, planned for 80, we did end up with pretty much an entire unused case of Moscato, which we still haven't taken back yet because we're just getting back into real life and all that. And then one more thing with the bar, I also did this cute little frame. I'm so happy with this. Like, I'm sure nobody even noticed it because it's small and oh, you can see yep, that's my mirror there. But this thing I'm super proud of. I did in the design space, the Cricut design space, I found the circle here. It's not even on screen. I found the like circular floral bits, and then just put the bar in the middle of it. And then there is this cardstock that I've just had for like over a year, and not really known what to do with it. And I just put it I just glued it directly onto the backing piece of the frame and just slapped it all together, and I'm actually, this turned out really well. I really love this. It's so cute. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with it now, but maybe one day when we have a home and we like have a bar, it'll actually go like on our bar, because I just love this so much. And I know I'm just tooting my own horn, but yeah, again, just cut out with the vinyl with the Cricut and then glued some cardstock to some stuff, which became a real theme, and I liked it because it's very easy, you know, as long as you do have that Cricut doing all the hard part of cutting for you. And then the last sort of reception piece I'm going to show you. This is the lid from the box for cards that we set out, and all I did was, again, it's just a strip of cardstock, used the Cricut to write cards on it, used the Cricut to cut out a little vinyl heart, slapped it on there, and actually put that under the box like that, because it's just a shoebox shape, but it is a glitter shoebox. Yay! Have to point that out, that it's glitter. But yeah, so it was just standing up like that, and it was just like, okay, here's where cards go. And that's just a cute little touch, in my opinion. I liked it. As for the ceremony, we just ran some tulle down the banisters, because we actually, so we had our ceremony in the lobby of the theater. So it has an upper and lower lobby, and all the seating was in the lower lobby, and we actually descended the stairs into a raised area in the center, and that's where the ceremony actually happened. But we wrapped tulle around the banisters going down to that platform, and then we just put up a backdrop, because otherwise there was just this sticker that's like a big ol' advertisement for the theater, and we were like, we don't want that in photos, so we got a backdrop that was just like a black photo backdrop, but then we put on the backdrop, we put those string lights that are like the curtain lights with the piece that goes across, and they just drop down every so often. And then, but actually in between the lights, we did, and we just bought these at the party store. So in between the lines, we just did these dots, and it looked so good. You really don't have to pay. You really don't have to pay for like super fancy materials or all of that. These are literally from the party store, and the end effect is not trashy. It's not like children's birthday party. Like, don't be afraid to buy decorations at the party store, and not even just the ones that are like wedding themed. Like, look at those colors. You've chosen colors for a reason. Go look at those colors, because it's gonna save you like time from trying to, like, some of these things I could make myself, but I was like, those were like $5-6 a package, and I was just like, nope, this is easy, we're doing this. And like the fans, like, again, like these, literally can make these with the Cricut, and I did make some, but having a bunch of them pre-made, I loved it. And under the lights that we had in that reception room, nothing looked tacky, nothing looked like, oh, they just bought that at the party store. Like, it looked so nice, and I'm really happy with how everything turned out. I'm gonna do another video to talk about like my dress and my veil. This video is getting kind of long already, and I think that might deserve its own separate thoughts and all of that, because I did make my own dress, and I have thoughts and opinions to share about that, as well as share the finished result of my dress. So yeah, that's where I'm gonna leave the chit chat for today. There's gonna be also, so there's gonna be that video about the dress, and there's also gonna be a video where I talk about the honeymoon. So look forward to all of that, and I'll see everybody next time.